Hello everyone, welcome back to Boletaria. In the last part we went through the tutorial, named my character Sunless Doom. The name sounds meaningful, but it's really not. And, you know, just got a general introduction to the demon's souls. In this next part, we're going to be doing the first part, Boletaria Palace. I forgot to read the description on the archstone. You know what? Doesn't matter. Does not matter. We're just going to jump right into it, and then I'll remember to do that next time. Well, that was creepy. Be wary of the enemy's escape. I don't know what enemy you're talking about. Anyway, let's head back here first because item. Yeah, sometimes a lot of developers will put items behind the starting point of the level if your starting point is like, you know, somewhere in the middle like this one. Anyway, one thing I should go over really quick about Demon Souls is the two characteristics that are really big and set it completely apart from the other games. Those two things are world tendency and character tendency. So, character tendency, that is basically like a morality meter, more or less. If you do good actions, then your character's personal tendency will get more white. So good actions would be things like slaying bosses, and that's about all I know you can do to increase that. And then evil actions are stuff like invading and killing other players and yada yada yada. I do believe if you allow yourself to get summoned and help someone else defeat a boss, that also affects your character tendency, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm not very, oh, I didn't even notice that guy. Anyway, I'm not very knowledgeable on tendency stuff. I'll make sure to look it up. Anyway. The other one is world tendency. So the world tendency affects how black or white your world is. Normally, the only way to affect it is by, well, actions in the game. So your character's world becomes more white if you do those same good actions. Let's see, well, I believe the only good action that affects your world is killing bosses. So you have limited opportunities to turn your world white naturally, whereas for black, your world will turn black if you kill NPCs in the world, or if you die repeatedly while in human form. So that's one of the ways Demon Souls is a really nice game, is that since we can't turn human until after we beat this level, there is no way for us to make the world blacker and make everything tougher. The world tendency also affects the difficulty. When it's white, enemies are weaker, and you will deal more damage while in soul form. Well, I don't think the enemies are weaker, but you deal more damage, that's for sure. So things will be, beware of fall ahead. Okay then, thank you for warning me about the fall right in front of it. I forgot to pick up that item. How could I forget that? But, yeah, anyway. So pure white makes the world a lot easier for you to handle, especially in soul form, while black will make the enemies tougher, but they'll also have a higher chance to drop items. Anyway, since we can write message, let's go ahead and leave something behind to warn people about that ambush. Let's see, so the reason why I wanted to bring up world tendency sooner rather than later, even though we technically can't alter our world tendency at all at this point, is that for the Return to Boletaria event, thrust attack, very funny, they're going to be setting the world tendency for everyone to pure white for this first week, and then it'll be shifted to pure black for the second. Of course, my world actually is neutral at the moment. And I think that's because UV Server has one other feature that the official game didn't have, and that's that you're able to manually adjust your world tendency whenever you like. It is really super duper handy. All you have to do is leave a specific message on the ground and then log out, and then it'll alter your world. I think you have to be in that specific world to make the world go white. So if I want this world to become pure white, for example, I just have to drop the message and drop the message and then log out, and then it'll alter. All the instructions for that are on the Discord, because I don't remember all the messages off the top of my head. Let's see, but if I remember correctly, you need a soul level of 10 to proceed, will make your world white. Let's see, requesting challengers, it will make it black, and leaving the message, leave more messages, will to return you to neutral. I don't know if there's an option to opt out of the, oh wow, that guy just threw it. Yeah, and I don't know how to opt out of it once you've already done it, but, oh well. Yeah, anyway, and then if you touch another player's bloodstain, you will see how they died. It's usually not very effective. At best, a lot of bloodstains in an area is a hint that there's something really big and nasty going on. But otherwise, it's kind of tough to predict how you can do something different compared to what they are doing, since you can't really see how they are reacting to the things going on. You just see their actions. But anyway, I'm gonna have to make sure to go through the world events or the pure white and pure black world events for all y'alls, because they are pretty interesting. Let's see. So, in World 1 of Boletaria, there are actually a few things that'll be... a few things that'll be different if you're in pure white. But first let's talk about the Bastard Sword. So that is a very interesting weapon for them to give us now, because... let me find the right thing. Wrong button! There we go. So, it has a stat requirement of 18 strength. As far as I remember, none of the starting classes have 18 strength, so it's a stronger weapon than what you're likely going to start with, but you can only use it when you're two-handing it. Alright. Ah! No, don't hit me. That's rude. Shooting people in the back. What do you think this is? Some sort of difficult game? Oh, go. Ha! I dodged it. And blocked it. Your crossbow bolts are ineffective. Anyway, what was I going on about again? Oh, right, the Bastard Sword. So it's a sword they give you pretty early on, but you can only use it with two hands. So that is pretty neat. A bolt, or at least for now, because you can't level up until you also beat this first area. So the use parries on the next enemy. Well, I don't think so. He looks scary. His eyes are red, and we don't even need to go over there yet anyway, so I'm just gonna leave him alone. Anyway, so that's one of the ways Demon Souls is really nice to you, is that it uses this very first level as, well, a sort of extension on the tutorial. Because the official tutorial, I suppose that was more like a way to teach you the controls and stuff, and this one is to get you used to the gameplay mechanics. In use. Very, very neat stuff. So, I forgot to check the other arch stones, but this, like I said before, this is the only one we can access at the moment. It's always fun when they do that. Yeah, this was the only one we could do at the moment, so no matter what, you will have to go through this first level of Boletaria Palace before you can visit any other parts of the game world. Or, I guess I should just say world. Okay, yeah, so you attack there, and that falls down. And that one, and that falls down. Alright, and... And then we're just going to keep going down, because this unlocks a shortcut. Shortcuts are always useful. So yeah. The publishers have always been playing up the difficulty of the Souls games, but they're honestly not that difficult. They just require you to get into the right mindset, I suppose. Did they really? Yeah, there are lots of exploding red barrels all throughout this first world, and these enemies have a lot of fire to cause them to explode. Although, speaking of fire, well, it's not related to fire at all, but this item, the Cling Ring, that will reduce your health reduction when you're in soul form. So yeah, instead of losing 50% of my health, now I'm only losing 25%. Very, very handy. And then Jade Ornament and Old Raggy Robes. I didn't actually give time to read that, but that's what was on the other corpse, as well as some spice. So those items are related to Stockpile Thomas, and like an idiot, I accidentally recorded myself talking to him after picking them up. Yeah, well, I forgot to record that is what I meant to say, or what I hope I said. Anyway, so I didn't catch that on camera, but the Jade Ornament belonged to Stockpile Thomas's daughter, and if you return it to him, he'll give you an item in return. And I think the hint about why those items were in those cages that we cut down is that the other item was a set of witches' robes. It's likely that Thomas's wife was accused of being a witch, and so the soldiers of Boletaria burned or killed her and her daughter. So that might be why they were in those cages up there. They don't really directly reference it. Thomas never makes any mention of magic or his wife knowing magic or anything like that, and doesn't even hint as to what could have happened to them. He just says that he ran away before he could check up on them, or didn't check on them while he was running away, and then he woke up in the Nexus. It's always nice to keep yourself topped off, although I don't have to worry about getting invaded because, like I said, this first part is completely disconnected from the multiplayer. At least in this, or at least for your very first playthrough. If you're a new game, I believe, or not new game plus, oh geez, that was loud, then you can probably be in human form in here and get invaded and stuff, but for your first playthrough, it's not possible for you to get invaded in this level. Distraction? I'll just wait here for this guy to come along. God, I hate this thing. It's a little tempting to actually switch to that bastard sword so that way I don't have to worry about it. Alright. Was there other things I wanted to talk about? I don't remember if there were. Well, I guess I could talk about that. Oh, wait, no, this guy.
Good day to you. Care to look over my wares? Mostly stolen, but who's telling you?
Alright, so this guy, as you can tell, he is called a Dregling. He is just like a lot of the random enemies we've been fighting. Dreglings, they're basically slaves, and, when things were normal-ish, the King of Boletaria used the Dreglings to basically like cannon fodder.
Be a brave knight or depraved slave, the demons will snatch your soul, and you'll go mad. And those who dare cling to their humanity are hunted down. It is the end of Great Boletaria as we know it. But hell, at least the demons don't send us to our deaths in battle. Thanks for that. Come back soon.
Yeah, I think there's some items that go over those details, but I forget which ones. I'll have to try and pay more attention to item descriptions as well. Let's see here. Yeah, so I want to equip the light crossbow and wooden bolts, and Jesus, those knights breathe loudly. He's a floor below me and I can hear him. But, I guess that hints at a sort of corruption that Boletaria already had as a kingdom. Oh yeah? Oh yeah? Well, you're gonna jump down in front of me? I'm gonna poke you with my pokey stick. Poke. Well, that was easy. Okay then. Because they just dress people up in rags, give them barely functioning weapons and armor, and tell them to go fight. I hope there weren't a lot of wars, because that does not sound like the best way to handle things. And then one other thing I do enjoy about Demon Souls more compared to Dark Souls and Bloodborne and all that is there's a better contextualization for why the currency is souls. Like in Dark Souls, I remember some NPCs mentioning that souls are important for something, but I don't quite remember them ever mentioning why souls are important. I think in Dark Souls 2, they mentioned that losing your soul causes you to eventually go mad, or losing your souls causes you to go mad over and over again. But I think that was just the developers trying to laugh at you in the opening thing, like saying, "We made this game especially hard. We hope you like it." I don't know, but yeah, I'm not 100% sure. But in those cases, I don't know if losing your soul or souls in Demons or Dark Souls has any effect on you. But here in Demon Souls, it does have an effect on you. You clearly go mad. These dreglings likely lost their souls, so they aren't able to function as the barely humans that they used to be, because they were raised as slaves and told that all they have to do is go out and die for their country. Lovely place. And so that's pretty much why everyone is so obsessed with souls. You have to have them in order to maintain your sanity, but it also makes you a target for demons and stuff. So that would also be an explanation for why enemies in levels constantly attack you. Very nice stuff, although Dark Souls actually does a good job of explaining why your enemies would attack you too. A lot of the enemies you fight are people who've gone hollow. Anyway, what else was I going on about? Oh yeah, so yeah, that's part of the reason why I prefer Souls as a currency in Demon's Souls compared to the other games, just because it's better contextualized. Parrying that guy was probably risky. I wonder if he was able to one-shot me. He did have a claymore. Alright, so let's charge that archer, because archers are annoying. Alright, and then you. Alright, and so next I'm gonna get my fire bombs ready. It's probably not a good idea to use too many of them before we get to the end. The boss at the end of the level is weak to fire, but look at all those exploding red barrels. Alright, let's try throw in a firebomb at this guy, see if that does anything. That didn't do anything. What about that guy? No, the fire didn't get close enough. Eh. Alrighty then, let's just throw it there. Lovely. Alright, back to healing items. Yeah, one big change they made in the Dark Souls remaster that I really enjoyed is that they added the menu navigation shortcuts that were present in Dark Souls 3, but not in the original. That was if you hold down on the directional pad, which affects your menu thingy, although I think the controls are different for PC. Anyway, point is, if you hold down the button that moves your items through that cycles through your items, it'll just go to the one at the top of your items or inventory slot thingy, which is usually your healing items, so that is very handy, and I hope the Demon Souls remaster does the same thing. Because the Dark Souls remaster did that as well. They did the same for spells as well. Normally you had to toggle through them all. Okay, cool. I could hear them kicking down the door. I should try and play this game with the headphones plugged in, so that way I can hear this stuff more clearly while I'm playing, because, yeah, I only knew they were going to bust down the door because I played this before. But re-listening to it, I was able to hear that. Ah, scimitar! Okay, you can bet your sweet biffy I'm equipping that. Look at it! Look at it! It's more defensive if I block with it, but even better, it's not a halberd. It doesn't attack like stupid. Oh, right, I forgot. I left the rest of my armor with Stockpile Thomas. I wonder if I would be able to equip my gloves now and still roll.
Help me! I am trapped, surrounded by dreglings.
No, just throw fire bombs at them, you wuss. Alright, just 2 more to go. Oh, they hit me. I was too careless. There we go. See, effortless, Mr. Dude.
My thanks for your brave rescue. I am Ostrava of Boletaria. Accept this as a token of my gratitude.
So, yeah, I think the intended way to go forward was to rescue Ostrava
Now, I
first.
must go. There is something for me to take care of.
Hey, it was to rescue Ostrava first and then go through this part of the level that I went through, basically backwards. Since Ostrava gives you that brass telescope, and that item would be very useful for lining up shots with the with fire bombs and other ranged weapons and magic too, I suppose, for a particularly large distance. Let's see, but so I'm going to backtrack to where we could have dropped down to him. Give me just a second. Alright, here we are. So this is where we could have jumped over the wall to rescue Ostrava. It's not exactly, it wasn't exactly a well-implemented thing, since there's nothing there to indicate that you could have dropped down. Let's see, an ancient sapphire ring. It subdues your presence, making it difficult for enemies to detect you. But the Thieves' Ring, that is a very handy item. I do believe if you pick the Thief class to begin with, you will start with that equipped, but I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on that. But, yeah, it is a very useful item, so enemies won't notice your presence until you're right on top of them. With some exceptions. There will be some enemies that respond to you almost immediately, I think, even when you have this equipped, and that's for ambushes and encounters and stuff. Yeah, anyway, let's proceed through here. Lovely stuff. And you can see the main palace in the distance. So you want to attack there to release all those. I'm going to write a message to tell people to attack. Where is it? Where is it? It's not under other, I don't think. I didn't see it. There it is. So you tell people to attack, and it kills the line of soldiers here. So, as you can see, there is a dragon perched over there. So Demon Souls is immediately more awesome than Dark Souls because dragons, they're more omnipresent than in Dark Souls, because Dark Souls' backstory involved the extermination of the dragons. I mean, there's still 1 or 2, but mostly no dragons. But they do have plenty of worms and drakes, so I guess that counts. Yeah. So yeah, see, the scimitar is one of those weapons where if you try to kick, it instead does a couple slices and then your character leaps back. Utterly useless. Well, I'm pretty sure someone could find a use for it, but I cannot. I'm not one of those people. I'm a big dum-dum. Anyway, so this is one of the parts that will be different if your world tendency is different. I know in pure white world tendency, the dragons are not there, regardless of whether or not you've killed them. So if you backtrack to this area when your world tendency is pure white, you can get the treasures that those dragons are basically guarding. And if you're being swayed by the global world tendency events from UV server, then you don't have to do this part the way I'm going to, which is give it a moment. There we go. As you could hear, a dragon swooped off and is going to fly towards the bridge. There he is. And if you stay on the bridge while he's there, he's going to breathe fire! So that'll happen if your world tendency is either neutral or pure black, I think, since the dragons are here with pure black. Of course, the red dragon also has to be alive. It's easier to kill it in World 2, but I suppose it might be possible to take it down now if you're feeling particularly patient. You'll just need to use a lot of arrows or bolts. Right, anyway, I ran back to the dragon nest to get the dragon to go back there, so that way I'd have time to run straight through. Ow! So that's usually how I deal with that part, because otherwise you're on a very strict time limit to get through that. What's this? If you keep trying, you can proceed. Keep trying what? That is so vague and non-specific. Yeah, for some odd reason the dragon likes to keep flying up here even though I'm no longer there. Ooh, cutscene. Ominous! Alright, so let's get going. Ambush. Ooh, and I can still hear the dragon flying about. Lovely stuff. Hey, I left this message here. You'll find an item past here. Well, let's go grab it. Ooh, turpentine. So that is an item that it'll, when you use it, it sets your weapon on fire. Very handy stuff. Let's see, and then I was watching through Matthew Matosis's Demon Souls commentary. I would highly recommend it. Basically what he went over is that they decided that he went over how he wasn't sure if there was a which came first, putting fire in this early part, or deciding that these early enemies would use fire, or that the boss of this area would be weak to fire. But it all plays out handily because the developers have a reason to give the player access to fire, and by having a lot of the enemies use fire-based weapons, they can have an in-game or in-story justification for why there's so many fire things lying about for you to pick up and to use. Alright, so this is a new enemy type. This is called a hoplite. So hoplites, they're just big blobs with shields for faces. And they take a lot of damage from the back, but they can't be, but they don't take so much from the front. If you use fire on them, then you can probably take them out with a couple of fire bombs or hit from a fiery weapon. But otherwise, if you can't get behind them, then they'll take a while. And yeah, this guy can toss a spear at you if you're standing in that doorway. The interesting thing about hoplites is they'll often drop shards. They'll often drop hard stone and sharp stone at varying levels. I think since we're in the first part of Boletaria Palace, they're going to drop mainly shards, which are for basic weapon upgrades. And then as we get going farther, they'll drop bigger parts. So I forget the exact direction of it, but shards are for basic upgrades, and the next one gets you a more intermediate, and then for the final upgrade you need pure. So I think after that it's a chunk of hardstone. Anyway, let's put turpentine there, and let's get it ready to go, because we're about to take on our first boss. Well, technically second. So this is Phalanx. So Phalanx is a very interesting encounter for a first boss. He looks very overwhelming, or I should say she. But regardless, the Phalanx is a multi-melee monster. So you're basically going to have to learn how to deal with multiple enemies in order to take this one down. The boss itself, this giant blob in the middle, it can't actually attack you. Oh, crap baskets, I still had my bombs equipped. For defeating the boss, you can just try and go up there and damage it quickly, but you'll have to keep an eye on all these enemies surrounding it. However, if you manage to kill all of the hoplites, no small feat considering how many of them there are, then Phalanx itself will be completely helpless, and all it can do is try to slide away from you. Okay. Well, let's just go ahead and use up our fire bombs. Hoarding is a pitfall. Wait, wrong game. Alright, let's see. But yeah, we're making some decent progress. And I'm a little disappointed. I haven't been seeing as many player phantoms running around. I am very disappointed in that. Come on, people, we're supposed to be returning to Boletaria. Although, to be fair, if people are more interested in doing multiplayer, they might be setting up fight clubs and stuff. I don't know how many of these folks are actually starting a completely brand new game like I'm doing. I always like to start from the very top when going into a Souls game. Starting with a new game plus or picking up where I left off with an old character, I don't know. I'm just not a very big fan of doing that. Although that's probably part of the reason why I don't have a lot of completed save files. But that's irrelevant for now. We defeated Phalanx! And because we did that, we regained our body! We need to bring some more souls, Slayers of Demons. And I don't think any of the ones that die with the boss will drop any shards or anything like that. But that doesn't matter. Anyway, we also get the lead demon's soul. What you can do with that? Well, first off, you can eat it, and you'll get a bunch of souls. I wouldn't recommend doing that because there is an achievement you can get if you use it for its other purpose, which is to make a weapon. For the lead demon souls, I think the only thing you can do with it is turn it into a weapon.
Welcome back. The monumental awaits the above. The monumental will explain the nexus to thee.
Alright, well, I'm gonna go ahead and call that here. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.